guys, welcome to my channel. Okay, so this video I'm still going through the discovery. So today I'm going to read you guys for this video. I am going to read you a couple different things. So the first one I'm going to read is just a quick little summary here. It says on August 15th, 2018, at about 22:45 hours, this officer responded to Anadarko oil well site near Roggen, Colorado. Upon arrival, I was advised by Colorado Bureau of Investigations that they had collected several pieces of evidence and placed them in evidence bags. Hair samples from the thief hatch on top of an oil battery. So I know for a lot of you that said that, no, they didn't go through the hatch, it had to be something else. But, they found the hairs right on the hatch, so that kind of confirms that they went through the hatch. So I've always believed that they did go through it, I really do. And I know, it would have been a tight squeeze, but I do believe that. So, but anyway, so they did find the hair samples. Parts of a rake, a bed sheet, and other things had been collected. These items were given to Detective Baumhofer. We started excavating a potential dig site about 100 feet from the oil tank battery. The dirt appeared to have been freshly dug. At about 2300 hours, we located the body of an adult female, which we believed to be Shanann. The body was decomposing and was removed at about 10 hours. So that had been 12:10 a.m. The body was in a shallow grave. The buttock was approximately 8 inches from the top of the burial site. Weld County coroner took possession of the body. Photographs were taken. So, let me see what I was going to say here. I just wanted to also, yes, I want to talk about, I missed this when I got the the files from Weld County, and I watched the one. I think I even put it in one of mine just for like a visual thing, where, and I didn't understand why. Now I do, but why there was a video of the dirt like right beside, not the one where Chris actually went to the bathroom, but it was the other video where it's like they just took a video of the dirt right beside the oil battery. So, and I was like, and then they zoom in on this dirt, and I'm like, well, why did they do that? But and then finally I seen it. It was actually the tire tracks. So I think they were trying to show like there was a car there, which normally, the car wouldn't be, or the truck wouldn't. There would be no tire tracks right there because the truck should never have been parked there. Like some of the coworkers said that it was parked in a spot that normally it wouldn't be parked. So I'm pretty sure that's why they took the video to show the tire tracks, right beside the oil battery, which, yeah, it wasn't normal. So I'm going to insert that video right here. Okay, so what do you guys think of that? So obviously he must have pulled up there first. What did he say that he? That's what I don't understand. He said that he, when on his latest interview, he said that he laid Shanann out on the side and then went and did that to them. So, and then he took them up, but then, if he was parked right there, there's no way that he carried Shanann that far. He could barely carry her. You know what I'm saying? He even said he had trouble. He dropped her, when he was carrying her down the stairs. So there's no way, if he didn't have help, that he walked her all the way over that far where he buried her. There's no way he walked her all the way over. Like, so my question is, then did he pick her back up and put her in the car after the kids and then drive over there? Or did he have help? Or is that not how it happened? Like, did he do that to the kids when maybe Shanann was still in the car? So, but he, you know what I'm saying? That would probably make the most sense, where he just kind of lied because he wanted to make it seem like not so bad, that he didn't do it when Shanann was just laying right there. But I think more realistically what happened is he probably did it and he never took her out of the car. Shanann was still laying there when he did that to the kids, and then and then he put them in the tanks, and then he probably drove over closer to where he buried her and then took her out. That's what I think, because there's no way he laid her in the dirt, like beside, like he said, and then did that, and then what, carried her all the way? No, that was too far. He couldn't do that. Or pick her back up and put her in the car. He'd probably have trouble getting her back into the car. So, yeah. So he isn't telling the truth completely. Of course, we all know that. But what do you guys think how that happened? Because if those are his tire tracks, he's like right beside the oil battery. That's like way over here is where he buried her. So that's just, there's no way he carried her that whole way. So I don't know. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to read to you guys here is, I know I mentioned this in another one of my videos, like way back, one of my old videos, but I don't know. I never got really any response about it, and I'm just curious what you guys think about. Well, here, I'll read it here. On August 20th, 2018, at approximately 1700 hours, I was asked by Detective Baumhofer if I saw a shovel in the back of Chris Watts' work truck. I advised him that I did and that I would complete a supplemental report with the information. On Monday evening, myself, Officer James, and Officer Coonrod were at the Watts residence speaking with Chris Watts about where his family might be. Officer James was speaking with Chris on the front driveway of the residence when I walked over to Chris's work truck, which was parked directly in front of the driveway to his residence facing east. I began looking into the bed of the truck over the tailgate and observed several silver toolboxes, some sort of pump with a large hose, and a few other miscellaneous tools. I walked to the passenger side of the truck while still looking into the bed of the truck and observed a shovel. The shovel was a spade shovel with a red handle and had a black rubber grip on the end of the handle. I noticed there was fresh dirt on the spade of the shovel. I noticed the shovel was facing down, with the bowl of the spade facing towards the tailgate and to the bed on the driver's side, and angled upwards to the passenger side, with the end of the handle being close to level with the top of the bed of the truck. The shovel was stored in between the cab of the truck and a silver toolbox or a gas tank in the bed of the truck. When the vehicle was towed from the residence on Wednesday night, I was inside the residence and not present outside while it was being towed. I heard from someone, that I cannot recall who, that the shovel may no longer have been in the bed of the truck. While executing the search warrant at the residence, I looked in the garage, basement, and outside of the residence in an attempt to locate any shovels, but did not locate any. Nothing further. So it just makes me wonder, did they ever find that shovel? The shovel. I know if you see with some of the stuff that they got out of his truck, there was some shovels. But it sounds like that specific shovel that he's talking about, maybe it just disappeared. I don't know. And why? Why would Chris have got rid of a shovel? Because he was allowed to have shovels. For his work, he had shovels. And I know they did find a few shovels in there, when you could see it in the evidence. But I don't know. He makes it seem like the shovel he was talking about, he heard that, it wasn't in there. And he couldn't find any shovel in the garage, basement, or outside the residence. So that's kind of interesting, because did he get rid of a shovel for some reason, and what would that reason be? Was it because he had an extra shovel in there that he wasn't supposed to? Like, there wasn't the normal, shovels that they all had, but he didn't want to look suspicious, so he got an extra shovel for this. you know, or had an extra shovel from his home and brought it in his truck or whatever. Because then it would look like, man, if he went out and got a shovel, that would, unless if he just used, I don't know. I really don't know. It just doesn't make sense because they did find some shovels, but what is he talking about? Was it another shovel that they couldn't find? Has anybody else heard about that? And what do you think? If it was, do you think he somehow got rid of a shovel for some reason? Like I said, the only reason I could think is if each coworker is supposed to have like a certain shovels, a certain amount, they all have the same, and maybe he had gotten an extra shovel for this, you know, so, you know, he wanted to get rid of it because, you know, they would see that it was extra. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, so also I want to read this report, just like a narrative that one of the cops wrote. So on 8/13/2018 at approximately 16:19 hours, which is what, like 4:19 p.m., I arrived on scene to the 2800 block of Saratoga Trail at the request of Officer Coonrod. Upon our arrival, he briefed me of information that Shanann Watts and her two daughters, Bella and Celeste, were missing from the residence. Officer Coonrod pointed out the residence to me, 2825 Saratoga Trail, which is a yellow two-story with brown trim. When I arrived on scene, the left east garage door was open and I observed a white Lexus SUV inside. I later observed a male, later identified as Chris Watts, exit the residence. There was also a brown extended cab Ford pickup parked in the street in front of the house. I spoke to Detective Baumhofer over the phone, and he advised Sergeant Bakes was on his way over and to check the house further for the three missing parties or for any note that may have been left behind. I spoke to Chris, and he advised me he was fine with us going through his house. Chris said he was going to walk around the neighborhood to clear his head. Remember, this is that video where they pull up, and he's like outside, he walks out, and they approach him, and he's like, I was gonna walk around the block to clear my head. I don't know if you remember that video, but anyway, his body cam is on this. Well, I think they're on all of these, but anyway. So Chris advised he works for Anadarko as an operator. He advised he works Monday through Friday. I completed a consent to search form for the house. Chris advised that he is the homeowner. I advised Chris I wanted to search his house in its entirety for missing persons. I then had Chris read the bottom of the consent to search form, and he advised him to ask any questions he may have before signing. Chris read the bottom and waived his right to a warrant. He then signed and dated the form.
So you're the homeowner, right? You guys aren't renters?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a consent to search form. This is the date and time and your location, which is your address. This is my name. I request permission to search this house in its entirety for missing persons. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and sign this, and then I need you to read the bottom of it and make sure you understand that. Before you sign it, ask me any questions if you don't understand it.
Okay.
I'll need you to print your name there. So when I list my name on here, it includes my buddies that are with me. Are you good with that?
Okay, that's cool.
Okay. So I just need you to print your name there. There's my name. Just read this bottom and make sure you understand that. Before you sign it, ask me any questions if you have any, okay?
Or 13th?
Today's the 13th. Looking for the time?
4:15, 36.
4:36.
Here.
Yep. You have any questions? Okay. I appreciate it.
A few moments later, Sergeant Bakes, Officer Coonrod, and I searched the house. Chris advised we had free reign and to do whatever you got to do. Chris was advised he can go inside with us or stay outside. Chris advised he would stay outside on the deck. Chris advised they have been together 8 years and married for 6 this year. He advised it was very unusual behavior. Chris entered the house and put their dog in the backyard. Upon approaching the front door, I observed a Ring doorbell camera.
All right. Whatever you like. How long have you guys been married?
So,
the guy that right here married fixed it.
Okay. And this is very unusual behavior.
You get that dog out here.
Okay.
Person on the counter right here.
Okay. So when you guys come home, do you usually use the front door, the garage door? How do you guys?
I usually open the garage door, come in.
Okay.
She uses the front or garage, just kind of thing.
Okay. Is that a ring out there?
Oh, that was,
No, the doorbell, is that a ring?
yeah, like when you got a visitor, it does, but I don't think the speaker is on to where you hear it, like if I...
Okay. I guess my question for you is, would it show her leaving with the kids? Did you have
If
any
she
alerts?
came out here, yeah, like,
Did you have any alerts today with that?
just when her friends were here.
Does it only record when the doorbell rings or anytime
If
someone?
you're like right here, it should just start, the proximity should hit up.
Okay. And have you had anything on that today?
Just her friends.
And what time was that?
12:10, afternoon.
Chris advised me he usually uses the garage door, and it depends what Shanann usually uses. He advised the only alerts he had for the doorbell were when her friends were here. Oh, okay. So that day, remember, he said, well, the only alerts that he had that day was when her friends were here, Nicole Atkinson. Chris advised the ring should record as you approach the front door. Chris said it showed that she got home at 1:48 a.m., and the only thing that was weird was the garage door showed that it was still open after he left. Chris advised his alarm is through Vivid. He said put Vivid, but it's Vivint. Anyway, Chris said her friend Nikki said the garage door was shut when she got there. So that's another question. So when they say it showed that the garage door was still open, I'm still confused. Did he mean the overhead garage door or the inside garage door that was still open? And both of them were shut, though, because at least when Nicole Atkinson got there, because the garage door was shut, and then when he came home to open the garage, the interior, or what do you call it, the garage going into the house was shut too. So why would that alarm have been open? I think that's what it is. Yeah, it's because I think what happened is when he was loading up his truck, he left that garage door open too long, and it sent a notification. He probably just happened to get it after he's left on his way. You know what I'm saying? So he had it on his phone, but it probably went off when he was actually loading his truck, because he probably had the door open for so long, and then he probably didn't see it until after he loaded the truck. But anyway, so I observed a purse on the kitchen counter along with a second phone in a black case. There was a green wallet in the purse. I observed Shanann's Colorado driver's license. Wait, a second phone? What does that mean? What does he mean by second phone? Was Shanann's phone in a black case? I mean, does he just mean a second phone other than Chris's? Or I know Chris had two phones, but why did he word it like that? A second phone. Wait, so I observed a purse on the kitchen counter along with a second phone in a black case. Well, maybe that was his work phone. I don't know, but anyway, there was a green wallet in the purse. I observed Shanann's Colorado driver's license to be in the wallet along with cash and multiple bank credit debit cards. There was also medication in the purse prescribed to Shanann. Upon searching the rest of the house, I did not find any signs of damaged property or anything that would indicate some type of struggle. The house was very well kept and organized, with the exception to the office area. I observed medication in Ziploc bags on the desk in the office. The medication was inhalers and what I recognized to be packages of medicine for nebulizers. There was also a prescription bottle of Celeste for omeprazole, 10 milligrams, in the bag. So the Lexus was parked in the garage with two car seats in the back seat and the keys sitting on the center. So the keys were sitting on the center console. So, I mean, could that be possibly that he... Oh, I mean, why would he have the keys? So could that be one of the things when he went in there and he put the keys there? But why would it matter? I mean, who else would have known, like, oh, the keys are always in the center, so they have to be there. Why couldn't he just... Yeah, never mind. Okay, so there was a remote to the garage attached to the passenger side visor, and I did not observe anything out of the ordinary inside the Lexus. There was mail sitting on the passenger seat. There was also other car seats sitting on the floor of the garage. The basement was unfinished and very well organized. There was a bed in the basement that had pillows and a blanket on it. The bed was not made. There was also a makeshift window covering on the window near the bed.
I'm down here. Nothing.
I went upstairs into the master bedrooms on the second level where Sergeant Banks and Officer Coonrod were. Upon entering the room, Sergeant Banks was looking at a blanket on the floor. I did not observe anything obviously damaged or anything that would indicate a struggle in the bedroom.
Sheets and comforters, I don't see anything. It's kind of hard. Nothing's on the bed, though.
Oh, that wasn't on there?
No, this was on.
It was on there?
No.
Wasn't on there.
It was like in front of like this. I looked at these. There's no... He said when he left, she was in bed sleeping.
She was in bed sleeping?
The washing machine door was open, and it appeared there were a couple child clothing items in the washer. There was a load of clothes in the dryer. The purple kid's bedroom did not have the bed made, but the sheets and blanket were on it. There was a Jack and Jill bathroom, pink, between two kid bedrooms. There was not water in the toilet of the bedroom. I was advised the bathroom had previously been locked. There was a second bathroom off the loft upstairs that had children bath items in the tub. There was also a well-organized playroom upstairs with toys and books. The backyard had a short privacy fence with townhomes directly to the south. Upon looking in the backyard, I went outside in the front where Chris was. I observed there to be a latch at the top of the front door, something commonly used in hotel rooms. That would prevent the door from opening unless the latch was unlatched. I also observed a pair of black, what appeared to be female, flip-flops directly next to the front door. Chris advised the garage door pad on the exterior of the garage door did not work. Chris advised you had to have the actual garage door opener to use the garage from the outside. Shanann's garage door opener was in her car. Officer Kunrad pressed the garage door opener that is attached to the wall next to the door that leads into the house to see how long it would take for the garage to close. There was enough time for someone to press the button from inside the garage, then run out of the garage onto the driveway.
Was it in the car? So she came out the door then?
Chris, I think,
What's your name again?
I'm Sergeant Bakes.
Sergeant Bakes.
Good to meet you.
Chris advised all of their family is in North Carolina. He advised she has friends in Frederick, Erie, Aurora, Parker, and he has tried to contact them. Chris advised he couldn't log in to check the bank accounts because she does the finances.
does she have any friends around here?
Just for friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got friends in Frederick, Erie, Aurora, that part of Erie, Broomfield, Parker.
Have you tried to contact any of them?
Oh yeah, we've exhausted every option. The last thing I'm going to do is hospitals. Hotels. There's so many, but...
And no one's heard from her today? Have you checked your bank accounts?
That's another thing I was going to do, because I don't have access through here.
Let's go check those and see if she pulled any cash out or if there's any strange charges or anything. Okay. Can you log?
I can't log in because she does all the finances.
Okay.
So I know her password. I just don't have her used already. I'm not sure what she would have used that way. Sorry, my phone's just blowing up.
No, you're fine.
He said he knows the password but not username. He advised they bank through USA and Chase. Chris agreed to call to see if there was any activity. Chris advised the small black suitcase next to the staircase was from the trip Shanann got back from the morning on 8/13. She had went to Arizona for work. Chris advised the suitcase observed in their bedroom was from when they were in North Carolina. He said that they just got back from North Carolina, then she went to Arizona 2 days later. Chris advised if there was a stockpile of cash in the house, he would not have known about it. He said she normally only carries approximately $100 cash with her. The bed of Chris's work truck was filled with items including a fire extinguisher, a large diameter hose, a shovel, a gas can, and multiple toolboxes.
Truck you always drive?
Can I go in there and get the card?
Yeah,
you
go ahead.
Go in the house.
Yeah. I just need to get my bank card.
Chris advised that was the pickup he always drives. Chris said he needed to go inside for his card information for the bank. Inside the house, he said there was a taxicab charge that posted to Chase on the 12th. Chris advised Shanann had a passport, but he didn't know where it was. I asked Chris if he had looked through her wallet to make sure all her cards were there. He said she has different cards than him and didn't know how many she had. He said the debit cards were the same account. So, did anybody ever figure out the taxicab charge? So, if it posted on the 12th, yeah, I guess. So, if it posted on the 12th, it probably would have been from like the 11th or 10th. So, yeah, that was probably maybe when they got home from North Carolina, but didn't know. But why would they have needed a cab? Because, maybe to the airport. Because remember how she was so mad because he took her Lexus to the airport and parked it at the airport. So, I don't know. I don't know if they ever found that out. Somebody said Uber. Would it say taxicab charge? I don't know. Mine never. I'm pretty sure mine never did, but because I used to use Uber all the time. In Colorado, yeah. I'm pretty sure it always just said Uber. I don't think it said taxicab, but I could be wrong, and maybe now they do it different. But anyway, so, and I feel like he just made sure he said that to throw them off, like, ooh, taxicab charge, just to kind of throw them off of him for some reason. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. He was trying to, and then like that, I think that's why he kept talking about that notification with the garage door, to just kind of like, oh, so the garage door said it was left open, just to kind of like make them wonder, kind of throw him off of his tracks, but, okay, so Chris advised his kids didn't have a favorite pair of shoes they wear. Chris showed a closet with multiple children's shoes in it, and he said he tells them to pick their shoes. Chris advised Cece take Singular for allergies and omeprazole for acid reflux. He said she thinks they ran out of inhalers because the last one he saw had 0 on it, and they hadn't refilled it yet. Wow, why do they wait till it gets down to 0 to even refill it? They need to... shouldn't wait till it's 0 to refill it. He said he saw it on 0 and they still hadn't refilled it. Anyway, so Chris advised he went back to work on the 8th, so they got home from North Carolina on the 7th. Chris advised she left for Arizona on Friday and got home last night. He advised he had the kids all weekend and they went to a birthday party yesterday. Chris said he has slept in the basement a few times because of the separation. He said it was probably Thursday night into Friday. He advised the kids sleep in their own beds. Sergeant Bakes asked about the sheets in the master bedroom. Chris advised she usually jumps into bed after being in the airport and will wash the sheets the next day to get the airport off of them. Chris advised he was in the master bedroom last night. Chris advised Shanann works at home in direct sales. Chris advised she doesn't go for walks around the area, but he will go for runs. Chris advised this morning they had a conversation about selling the house and separating. He advised they were both pretty emotional and crying. Chris said Shanann told him she was taking the kids to a friend's house, but didn't tell him who. He said she was still in bed when that happened. Chris said it was between 4 and 5 a.m. He said he woke up at 4. Chris said he was passed out when she got home, then woke her up. He said he wanted to have a conversation with her face to face. He said the conversation lasted 30 to 45 minutes. He said he left between 5:15 and 5:30. Chris said he went to location first, east of Hudson. He said he was the only one there because one of the operators had an issue there Friday that was left over the weekend. He said he went there to verify the issue to see if he could fix it. He said he then went to a pumping unit across the ranch. He advised it was the Survey Ranch near Ruggin, Colorado. Chris said he loaded up his water bottles, computer, book bag, container with O-rings into his truck. He advised he had an issue where someone stole tools out of his truck previously. He said he parks his truck near the neighbor's house for a few days to see if someone was trying to break into it again. He said he had left his toolboxes in the back unlocked. He said he unloads his stuff on the weekend to clear his truck out. He said they originally moved in with a friend in Broomfield. Then their house was built in 2013. He said they don't have many friends in Frederick besides Nikki, and some friends that recently moved to Thornton, Nick and Amanda Thayer. Chris said Shanann's friend Cassie is a nurse and noticed she had low blood sugar while they were in Arizona. He said before he met Shanann, she had a bad car accident where they believed she blacked out or had a seizure. I left Chris with my business card and told him to have her call us if anyone they know is in contact with her. Throughout the interaction with Chris, he was very cooperative and answered questions appropriately. Nothing was readily observed inside the residence that would indicate a struggle. On 8/13, at approximately 21:12 hours, I called Chris to see if he had heard anything. He advised me he had not, but provided me with the phone number to a few of her friends. They included the following, and it was Addie Maloney, Sam Paisley, Christina Meacham, Jeremy Lindstrom, and Cindy DeRosset. Okay, so Chris advised me she was in North Carolina for 5 weeks. Then he went for the 6th week. He said there was a disconnect and they fell out of love for each other. He said that when they were together again the last week, it just wasn't the same. Chris felt like they weren't in love anymore. Chris said he could never be himself or be who he was before he met her. Poor Chris. Oh, I feel so bad for him. Chris said they had a disconnect once he saw her again and that it wasn't there anymore. Chris said it was totally possible she was seeing someone else. When asked if he was seeing someone else, he slightly lowered his voice and said, "Nah, I have not done that." What kind of answer is that when somebody says, "Oh, have you been seeing somebody else?" "Nah, I have not done that." Like, who says that for an answer? I have not done that. What? I don't know. Chris said he was going to go to work early to see what's going on. He said if his head wasn't there, then he would roll out. Chris said he didn't know what he wanted us to do. He said it's hard to be in the house right now. Chris was advised to call us right away if he hears anything. So I first spoke to Sam Paisley. She advised me she lives in Maryland and knows Shanann through work. The last time Sam spoke with her was July 18th via text. Sam said most of her information was coming from Addie and Cindy, who she was texting with. Sam advised Chris didn't want the baby Shanann was currently pregnant with, and that he wanted a separation. Sam advised Chris went to a baseball game on Saturday with his buddies, and Shanann thought his expense for a meal, salmon and beer, was expensive because it was around $60. Sam advised that she thought Chris ate at the Rusty Bucket in Westminster around 8 p.m. and arrived 2 hours later. Sam advised Shanann was experiencing nausea with the pregnancy. Sam provided me with the contact information of Cindy. I then spoke with Jeremy. He advised Shanann has a very scheduled life. He advised that the kids did take medication. Chris had brought the girls to his house on Sunday for a birthday party. Jeremy lives in Erie and sees them once every few months. When I called Jeremy, he was just leaving Chris's house with his wife. I then spoke with Cindy. She was in Arizona with Shanann. Cindy lives in Arizona. Her and Addie had dropped Nikki and Shanann off at the airport Sunday evening around 7 p.m. Cindy saw Nikki for the work event Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Cindy advised they work for Lavelle. Cindy advised Shanann told them that Chris was becoming distant and said they weren't compatible anymore. Cindy said Shanann was blindsided by this. Cindy said they were making plans to go away for the weekend. She mentioned that Chris recently deleted his Facebook account. Chris used to post on Facebook how proud he was of Shanann and the kids. Cindy said Shanann was pregnant with a boy, but they had canceled the gender reveal party because the energy wasn't right. Cindy said Chris was recently starting to get more fit. Cindy advised Shanann was a very routine-oriented person and described her as a helicopter mom. Cindy described Chris as a passive and calm person. Cindy said Shanann has lupus. She also said Shanann was very distraught about Chris and that he was getting annoyed with her recently. Cindy advised she has known Shanann for a couple of years and saw them in April or May in New Orleans for work. I then spoke to Christina. Christina lives in Hawaii and described herself and Shanann as best friends and have known each other for 14 years. She advised they talk every day. The last time they spoke was Friday, and Christina didn't bother her the other days because she was on her trip. Christina advised Chris has been cold towards Shanann recently. While in North Carolina, Shanann called Christina and said he wouldn't touch or kiss her anymore. Shanann told her that Chris didn't want the baby she was pregnant with and that he was scared. He was happy with having only 2 girls. Chris told Shanann they weren't compatible anymore. Shanann was in North Carolina without Chris for 5 weeks. Then Chris went there the last week. Christina said on Friday Shanann told her she was having a baby boy and was super excited. Shanann said Chris was willing to go into therapy with her and they had planned to go to Aspen. Christina lived with Chris and Shanann last year for 2 months when Shanann had surgery to help take care of the kids. Christina said Shanann was in charge of the household and they were very loving and caring towards each other. Christina said Shanann told her that Chris was tired of not being able to hang a picture on the wall without her input and he wanted a say. Christina said their marriage began to change when Shanann was in North Carolina. Chris began to get aggravated with the kids around him. She said Chris used to put Shanann and the kids first. Chris began not to touch or ask Shanann about the baby. Christina said when they were separated for 5 weeks, Chris came back to Shanann a different man. Christina said Shanann had a routine and was a bit OCD. She advised everything was in order, even what she wore as clothes. Christina described Shanann as very protective of the kids. And see, that's where people, some people are, talking negatively about Shanann because, she maybe did have a bit of OCD. But, I feel like with Chris's personality, that is what he wanted out of a woman. You know what I'm saying? He wanted that powerful, take charge, having a routine, telling him exactly what to do type of woman. So all these people that I feel like that are feeling bad for him, I don't know why, because that is the kind of woman that he wanted. You know what I'm saying? He chose her for a reason, because he wanted that personality. He wanted that type. He needed that type to, to be better. He needed that routine. He needed that organization. He needed somebody to kind of tell him what to do and, to take care of things. Because, and I think it definitely does have a lot to do with how he was brought up, and, he had a very strong mom, that basically was in charge. You know what I'm saying? And the mom ran the household. And so a lot of the times when you were raised like that, that's what you go out and that's what you're used to. That's all you know. So that's kind of what you look for, and that's what just fits best with, your personality. So I think she was perfect for him. So I hate when people would just say, oh, poor Chris, he, because Shanann, bossed him around or did this. But that's exactly what he wanted, and that's what he needed, and that's what worked well with his personality. You know what I'm saying? Because imagine him being with somebody that's like him. You know what I'm saying? They probably wouldn't have got anything done. He probably wouldn't have been motivated to even, maybe get a good job or to push himself to be the best guy, the best he could, and to, I don't know. Sometimes opposites do attract, and this is more, I don't know if this falls under the whole opposites attract thing, but I think it's just, it does in a way, but I think it's also it's just what he knows, and that's what he was brought up with, and that's what he saw as the model for how a family operates, because that was his family. So that's kind of what he modeled, his behavior for, after, to find a wife to kind of to almost mimic his family. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see anything wrong. She just had that type of personality, and there's somebody out there for everybody, and so there's somebody out there for her personality types, and it's Chris's type of personality would be, you know what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with her. She wasn't a mean, evil person. That was just her personality type. And yeah, a lot of you guys maybe, the people that are, saying oh my God, she was so horrible, and she was, treated them like crap. Well, then obviously that personality type is just not for you. But it does work with some people, and it doesn't make her a bad person. It doesn't make her evil. It doesn't make her. And she knew. It's not like she said oh, what's he talking about? I'm not this way. She knew her faults. She knew how she was. So maybe she was pretty extreme in it, so she was trying to okay, maybe I got to control it a little bit more. And she was trying to, but the thing is I don't think it would have even have bothered Chris at all if he wouldn't have found NK. I think he was totally fine. He was happy, and that's what he wanted, and it was fine, and everything worked well, how they lived, and their personalities meshed well together. And it wasn't until he found NK that he started having a problem with it, when it wasn't really Shanann that he had a problem with. It was he just found somebody else, So yeah, I think she was good for him. I really do. So, like I said, he knew. It's not like she pretended to be somebody she wasn't before. Like when he met her and before he married her, she acted like she was this way, and then all of a sudden, he commits and marries her, and then she changes. When we hear their past, she was always that way. So, and he married her, so obviously he loved that. He wanted to be with somebody that had that personality type because he knew that's the way she was, and he still married her. So I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. She just had, a certain type, and I really think that their personalities actually went good together. I really do. And like I said, if it wasn't for NK, I don't think he would have ever had a problem at all. And I think the only reason his mom had a problem with it is because she was just jealous. It was like, oh shoot, she wanted to be the strong female figure in his life. You know what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden Shanann is this strong female figure that now he's listening to. So that kind of made her jealous. So she's just like, no, I want to be that for him. I don't want him to have somebody else. You know what I'm saying? She probably would have been happier with Chris to be with a more passive type person like Chris is. So she could still be that dominant female figure in his life. You know what I'm saying? And so she probably would have wanted a more, with somebody that was, not so like her. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not saying Shanann was like Cindy, because I think I'm talking about there's some traits that are kind of similar, but they're so different too. I'm just talking about like that dominant female type role, but not. There's a lot of differences between them too. But my point is just that strong female personality. Cindy didn't want that for her son. She wanted him to have somebody, passive, so she could run them both, and she could be the strong woman. So in his life, so yeah, she would have definitely been happy with him to be with somebody more like him, just more passive, and so she could, be in charge of, still be the one in charge, still calling the shots for both of them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I just kind of got off track there, but I just don't like when I hear that, like, oh, poor Chris, because Shanann was so mean to him. No, she wasn't. I don't see that at all. I saw that she really loved him. I feel like she definitely loved that guy, like wholeheartedly she loved that guy. So yeah, I don't agree. But anyway, okay, so Christina did believe they struggled a bit financially. Shanann wanted the marriage to work, but said she couldn't fight for him without his help. Christina described the girls as being light sleepers. Because of where the girls slept, above the garage of the house, they wouldn't open the garage door in the morning. Christina said Chris would usually go out the front door. She said if there was an argument when she got home, the girls would have woken up. Christina used an example of when she lived with them. They had to leave early one morning, so they had parked the car outside the garage the night before. Shanann was worried just turning on the car would wake the kids. Christina advised Shanann would not leave the house without anything. Christina advised it would be hard to imagine Chris hurting the girls because he was very attentive and caring. Christina advised Chris getting aggravated with the kids as well as the marriage all began at the same time. Christina also mentioned Chris had deleted his Facebook page. Finally, Christina described Shanann as a person who plans everything and says she wouldn't have just left like that. I then spoke with Addie via phone. She was flying back to Maryland from Arizona. Addie advised things were not good between Chris and Shanann. Chris didn't want the baby, and they had canceled the gender reveal party. 2 weeks ago, Shanann was texting with Addie, telling her this information. When Addie saw Shanann Sunday night, Shanann looked sad. Shanann said Chris went to the Rockies game with a group of guys. Shanann had been in contact with the babysitter who was watching the girls while he was out. Chris told her he went and got food after and ate salmon and drank beer. He told Shanann it was $62 and she thought it was expensive for just him. Addie said while in North Carolina, Chris's mom had exposed their daughter to tree nut allergy, nuts, and ice cream, and Shanann and his parents had a falling out over it. Addie said his parents did not go to Cece's birthday party they had for her in North Carolina because of the falling out. Addie said Chris and his father were close, and Shanann had felt like Chris thought she had caused problems with his dad. Addie said Chris had also deleted his Facebook account last Thursday, which is strange because social media is used regularly for her business. Chris told Shanann he needed a break from Facebook. Addie said Chris seemed to come around to the idea of another baby when he found out it was a boy because he wanted a boy. When Addie found out they were having problems, it came as a huge shock to her. She advised Chris told Shanann that they didn't communicate well anymore, but wouldn't really say what was wrong with the relationship. Addie said Shanann was anxious to get home because Chris was coming around prior to her going to Arizona. Shanann was also looking forward to getting away with him for the weekend. Addie believed that Nikki was going to watch the kids while they were gone, but wasn't sure. Addie said Shanann was the best mom she knows and wouldn't have left medicine, phone, or car seats. Addie said Shanann was the most organized person and planned everything. Addie described Chris as being a great dad. Addie said the only person in Colorado that knew of the marriage problems was Nikki. Most of Shanann's friends are through the business. Addie said Shanann would go on play dates and mentioned Amanda, who used to be the director at the school, a female by the name of Karen they work with also in Arizona and lives in Colorado, but they didn't discuss Chris in Arizona with her. So Addie also mentioned Chris told her a neighbor has a security camera that is pointed at their house. For a full account of my conversations with all the friends, please refer to the taser camera footage. It should be noted I, along with Sergeant Bakes, Officer Goodman, and 2 Tacoma officers, looked through the houses under construction in Shanann's neighborhood but did not locate them. A caller from Sandy, Utah, had observed a Facebook post regarding Shanann. She had advised she observed a guy with 2 young girls that looked similar to the missing children at the Dimple Dell Aquatic Center in Sandy, Utah at approximately 6:05. Okay, so that's that. Alright guys, thanks for watching again, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.